getting it right. That's the goal of every practice session, right? Hit the notes, clean the passage, fix the mistakes, get it right. But what if that goal, the one every teacher gave you, the one you've organized your entire practice life around, is actually the thing making your playing worse? I'm Joseph Arnold, and I'm a professional violinist, and I teach the Soul Force Arts approach, which is about releasing the habitual tension that musicians build up over years of trying too hard. And today, I want to show you a method that I teach that changes everything for my students. It's a very powerful reframe on what it means to get it right. So here's what I see consistently. A student comes in, they're working on a difficult passage, and their entire nervous system is organized around one question. How do I get the notes right? And it's so easy to watch what happens in their body, to see what happens in their body when that's the question. Their shoulders creep up, their jaw tightens, their breath gets shallow, their hands grip, and they're not even aware of it because all of their attention is on the notes on the page. And so here's the trap. When they do get the notes right, they think that their practice worked. They got the result. But they got the result while teaching their body to tense up. So what do they practice? They just practice their tension. They got the notes right, and they made their underlying problem worse. This is so common. I had 3 students this week, all working on completely different repertoire, different instruments, and every single one of them was caught in the same loop. They believe that the accuracy is their measure of success, with tension as this invisible cost. So one said one named a subconscious belief that she had. Her belief was, it's hard to play well. And then she caught herself. She recognized that belief was what I call a form of insanity. Not because she's crazy, but because the belief itself was making the thing true. She was pressing her left hand into the fingerboard so hard that when I asked her to find the minimum pressure needed to make a sound, she realized she was using 5 times the effort required. And she had no idea, right? This is so common. So what does getting it right actually mean? At a subconscious level, almost every musician thinks it means one thing: the notes, the technique, accurate, clean, in tune, in time. And that's technique, right? And technique matters. I'm not saying it doesn't. But technique is only 1/3 of what I call soul force mastery, which is a definition of mastery that is truly capable of bringing out your artistic soul force. The thing we all miss is that technique is necessary, but not sufficient for soul force. There are 2 other dimensions that almost nobody practices deliberately. The first is effortlessness. Can you play the passage with ease, with your body free and your breathing open? The second is what I call the knowledge of the soul. Are you connected with what this music actually means to you? Are you saying something or just executing? All 3 work together. You need all 3 for soul force. But most musicians spend 100% of their practice time on the first dimension and 0 on the other 2. And then they wonder why they sound stiff and why performing feels like survival and why music doesn't move people the way it used to move them. So when I say redefine what it means to get it right, I mean expand it. Getting it right means the notes are there and your body is free and you're connected with the music's meaning. That's the whole picture. That's soul force mastery. So here's how I had my students start practicing the effortlessness piece this week. I gave them a simple starting point. Play the passage and rate your overall tension on a scale of 1 to 10. And do that before and after, and notice the number, and that's your baseline. That's how you're going to track how well you're doing here. And now here's the tool that actually changes the number. I call it the magic pause. I have other videos on this you can check out on my channel. So think about the passage you're working on. Where are the hard parts? You're going to find all the hardest parts. The high notes, the fast run, the awkward shift, the big leap. You know where they are. Your body knows too. And what your body does every single time is to tense up right before those moments. You brace, you grip, you hold your breath, right? So even before the hard thing happens, your body is already fighting, right? This is very common. So here's what you do. You play through the passage, but put a nice long pause, 3 to 5 seconds, right before each tricky spot, an actual pause. So the high note is coming up, you pause, breathe. You let the anticipatory tension subside. You feel your body. You let everything settle, all right? And then you play the hard part. And in the pause, you really don't have to try to relax or anything like that. You're just interrupting that old pattern. So what you're doing when you do this is actually pretty extraordinary and something that most musicians have never done. You're practicing being relaxed at the exact moment when you normally get tight. You're rewriting your habit at its source. Not the notes, but your body's relationship to the notes. One of my students went from a tension rating of 6 down to 3 this week. Her sound opened up, there's more resonance, more color, more musicality. And another went from an 8 to a 5. And she discovered that she'd been pressing her left hand into the fingerboard 5 times harder than necessary, like I said before, right? For years. Her accuracy didn't suffer when she was more relaxed. Her accuracy actually improved because the tension was never helping. It was just there out of a habit of force and control. So now, obviously, you're not going to pause for 5 seconds during a performance, unless you actually have a rest or something. But here's the beautiful part. When you get up on stage, even without those long pauses, if you've been practicing in this way, your body has already learned to be at ease in those moments. You've retrained the pattern, and the ease travels with you. And here's a bonus tip. You can still do what I call micro pauses in a performance, pauses so short that only you know that they're there. A tiny breath of space before the shift, like a fraction of a second, where you choose ease instead of bracing. The audience hears the phrasing. You feel the freedom. So try it today. Pick your hardest passage, put long pauses before every tricky spot, rate your tension before and after to keep track, and tell me what happens in the comments. I read every one. Good, so that's the lesson for today. If you want to experience this shift in real time with guidance, you have a couple options for doing that. One is I run a free online lab where we work on exactly this kind of thing, releasing the habitual tension that's built up in your playing. So the link is down below in the description. It's called the Musician's Tension Reset Lab, and it's one of the fastest ways to feel what ease actually means in your body, not just in your head. Okay, and I also teach one-on-one lessons, and you can check out my book, Soul Force, on my website. So if this reframe landed for you, if something clicked, let me know in the comments, okay? And then also tell me, what's your tension number right now when you play your hardest passage? What's the difference if you try this magic pause? Let me know in the comments. All right, and so if you're a violinist and want to learn why your left hand frame is a trap, then watch this video next. And also subscribe if you want more of this kind of content. I post new videos every week. All right, see you next time.